Now this is a hatch install instructions for a 24 centimeter or 10-inch kayak hatch. It comes in a kit. Purchased it on the internet. You can see these are the items that came with it. We're going to install that on the kayak. We use the rim as a template to draw the hole that we're going to cut to install the rim. And as you can see, I've pulled the bungee cords aside. I'm going to try and keep those. If they interfere with the hatch, I'll have to take those out. And I'll fiberglass the holes where they were shut. But I think I'm going to be able to keep both the new installed hatch and the tie downs or the cords. So we use this to make a pattern, and now we're going to cut the hole. Now I could take the saber saw and try and cut that out bigger, but I'm going to switch to a router because the last thing I want to do is make this hole too big, and I've got a little more control with the router. I can make a little bit finer cut and get it just right. Okay, so we've got that adjusted and we've got it fit so that that lip is fitting there pretty good. Okay, one last thing that I did is I took some sandpaper and I roughed up this edge here a little bit. This particular kayak is a plastic kayak. This material is very slippery. I thought I'd get better adhesion with the sealant if I rough this up with some sandpaper, and then you want to make sure to get any dust or anything off. The next step is to take this ring that's going to go in that hole, and then that forms the lip that the hatch cover attaches to. We need to drill holes in this rim in order to attach it to the kayak. The instructions recommend that you stagger these holes like a clock, so you would have one here at the 12 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, the 9 o'clock, the 3 o'clock, and then alternating for 8 screws. I've got it clamped down to the kayak so I can mark the holes to drill into the kayak hull. Be sure to sand off any burrs that you get when this drill bit pops through here, because these washers that you're going to be putting on from the underside have a neoprene or a rubber gasket, and you want to be sure that they seat real good to avoid any leakage there, and you want to be sure to get the burrs off so that you do get that seal that you're looking for there. What I'm doing here is I'm putting some painter's tape around the rim of this. I'm going to put the hatch rim back on, and then I'm going to use that as a template to cut this out so that my hull is protected from glue squishing out. Now I've made some modifications on my installation from the instructions that came with this kit from the manufacturer. I'm doing that because my kayak has a convex hull. The instructions for this hatch kit indicate that you should have a pretty flat surface. Well, I don't have that. And what's happening because of that is you can see that this is going to rock on here. So to solve that problem, I've taken some of the mini cell foam left over from the bulkhead that I'm also going to put in here, and I've made a couple of gaskets that are kind of wedge shaped, and when you put those here, it takes out that rocking, and it makes this pretty much seat pretty solid on there. Another change that I made from the kit is in the screws that they provided, or the bolts, and you can see that the bolt that they provided has a wedge or a cone shaped head on it. And my concern is, because I am going to tighten these down pretty hard because of that convex hull shape, that this will act like a wedge, especially if you countersink those holes like they've indicated you should. that this could act as a wedge and split or crack that plastic rim. And they even warn you in the instructions not to over tighten it. Again, I do believe that their installation intends that that hatch ring be installed in a fairly flat surface, so these would probably work quite well for that. But for my convex hull curve, I've moved to a different kind of bolt that has a flat head, and I'm also going to put a neoprene washer in there. So that will allow me to push that plastic ring down and tighten that up pretty tight and get a good seal, and I don't have to worry about that kind of wedge-shaped head cracking that plastic ring. Okay, so I've glued down my homemade gaskets out of mini cell foam with H2 glue, and I'm getting ready to install the ring. Okay, so there it is with the rim glued down and screwed down, and we'll let that cure for about 8 to 10 hours. Then we'll come back and clean the mess up a little bit. And it takes about 24 hours for the sealant to set. So here it is, completed. I've taken it and cleaned it up and gotten the excess sealant and glue off of it. And so it's installed. It's looking pretty good. If you want to see, this is the rubber Tupperware type lid that it snaps onto. I didn't really have it set down in there the proper way because this is still curing, and I don't want to snap it down and lift that off and move that any, because it's still curing. And you can see I was able to save my bungee cords, so I can still use those. So that's pretty much it. For those that are interested, I am going to install a bulkhead here so that this will be sealed off, and you can see the lines where that's going to go. I have the bulkhead ready for that I'll be installing, made out of mini cell foam. That is a separate video. If you go to where you got this one, Owens MI on YouTube, you'll find the bulkhead fabrication and installation video which accompanies this hatch install. I got this hatch kit from topkayaker.net. Tom and the gang there were very helpful to me with it, and I'm going to put at the end of this video their website, so if you want to go there and take a look at that and see what that costs and order one from them, you can do so.